Hello and welcome. Now in this video we are going to get started with the Turbo Course Builder, and you are looking at the zip file that Turbo Course Builder comes in. What we're going to do first is we're going to unzip that file, and in Windows all you're going to have to do is right click and then you are going to click Extract All. And then what we're going to do is we're going to extract all of these folders into a new one where you can actually start working with the documents. And once you have all the files, you can actually go and delete the zip file. And then you have the Turbo Course Builder folder. Now what you'll want to do is you'll want to open up your website where you're going to have Turbo Course Builder, and you're going to open it into the public HTML folder. And you're going to notice the public HTML folder here. Now obviously there's some other information in here, but we're going to go ahead and just open it up. We're going to double click this link, and then that's going to open up our public HTML folder. You're then going to want to create a folder. I just created one inside of that directory called TCB, and this is where I'm going to put all of those files that I opened up inside of Turbo Course Builder. So to get them, I'm going to double click inside of the folders, and you'll notice there that I have all of my Turbo Course Builder files. When you are inside of FileZilla, of course, what you can do is you can drag and drop this information. So that is what we are going to do. I'm just going to highlight all of the files, and then I'm going to drag them over into TCB in that directory. So let's do that now. You are now going to need to go into your cPanel, and in most cases what you're going to need to do is to put in the domain name and then put cPanel. So in this particular case, I'm just going to put in a domain name. I'm going to type in cPanel, and then that's going to give me a login and password, and then I'm going to log into my cPanel or control panel. I'm now inside of my control panel or cPanel, and I'm going to scroll down into this area for databases, and I'm going to click My SQL Databases. And once I'm in there, I'm just going to create a new database. I'm going to call it TCB, and then I'm going to click Create Database. cPanel is going to tell me I've created the database. I'm now going to go back, and then I'm going to scroll down to the area that says Add a New User. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in TCB user, and then I'm going to give it a password. Once I do that, I'm going to click Create a User. cPanel will tell me I've created a user, and now I'm going to click the Go Back button again. Then I want to scroll all the way down to where it says Add a User to the database. I'm then going to add TCB user to TCP database, and then I'm going to click the Add button. Once I do that, I'm going to click All Privileges, and then I'm going to click Make Changes. I'm then going to go to my domain name. I'm going to put a / and then I'm going to write in TCB, and then I'm going to click Go. And once you've done that, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the domain name. You're going to go to that directory you created called TCB. So you're going to put the domain name / TCB, and then you are going to hit Enter. When you do that, you are going to get a screen that looks like this with the install factors or the install components, and then you're going to write in the various install components, and we're going to write them in and then we'll discuss them. Now in most cases, 99% of the cases, you're going to write in localhost. If this doesn't work, you might need to check with your host, but in most cases writing localhost here will work. The database user, well, that's the one that you just created. So you're going to get the name of that database, and you're going to write that in there, and it's going to be something like TCB user. It's going to have the first part of your database and then TCP user, because that's what we created. You're going to write in that database password we created. Then you're going to write in the database name we created. And so it's going to be something like your domain name is going to have TCB. And then what you're going to do is you're going to write in an admin email where you get, or you actually do check the email and you want to make sure that's in there. You're going to give yourself a username and then you're going to type in a password. Once you've done that, then we will then click the submit button. That will immediately take you to this login screen. And we're going to use that login and email that we just created and the password. Once you have that written in, you're then going to click submit. And then you will then be on the admin screen. And now that you're inside of TCB, what we're going to do first is we're going to go to the settings area by clicking this link. And you're going to notice that you can change your font color, you can change your font size, or you can change the font type. You can also change the text inside of the lesson. So you can change color, font size, and font. So we can click this button and change this font to blue and click OK. We can change this to 12 pixels and we can change the font, but we'll leave it at Arial. And once we've done that, we can then click Save to save our settings. TCB will tell us our settings have been updated and we can now move on. And what we're going to do is click Add a Lesson. And that's going to bring us to this screen. Now, once we open up this field, we can actually give our lesson a name. I'm going to give this the name First Lesson. Once I've done that, I can now put my lesson inside of this area, and I'm going to actually fill this in with some information. And now we have our lesson text. Now immediately under the written lesson, you're going to notice there that we can actually add in links. And so we can click the add button as well as starting with this information or these fields in this area. So in this particular case, we are going to go ahead and type in a link and we're just going to do Google and google.com. Now if we want to add a second link, we'll just click add and then we'll be able to add in a second link. Now, if we want to remove one of these links, we can just click this button that says remove. That'll remove it. If we want to display the links, we can click this button and this will display to our students. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the files area and you're going to notice that there's a display files button. And what you're going to do is you're going to be able to put in your download link where this URL is here, or you're going to be able to put in your title. You can also upload a file by clicking this button and having it go to your hard drive. You can do it either way. The safest way will always be that you're going to use a URL and serve the files from elsewhere. You can serve them from a place like Dropbox or from your Microsoft OneDrive or from Amazon S3. So what we're going to do is we're going to write in a title and we're going to put a download in here. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so we can choose to display the file, and now that we have both pieces of information underneath our lesson, we have everything for our student to learn. Now all we need to do is to click the Save button. And now our lesson has been added successfully. Now if we want to check the look of our lessons, all we have to do is to go to the lessons link, and then we can then go to View, Edit, or Delete. We can also get statistics on how many people have viewed the link. Now one thing to note is we can create several lessons. So in this case, what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and create several lessons, a second and a third, and then we're going to add them in. They're going to look just like the ones we created, and then we'll come back. Okay, so we now have a first lesson, second lesson, and third lesson. We can, if we want to, we can move one up, we can move one down in the order, and we can do that by controlling them through these buttons. If we need to edit a lesson, we can go in and click Edit, and then Save again. And once again, we can move them up and down. So now what we want to do is we want to actually go and see our lessons on a web page. And what we're going to do is go to the embed link, and you're going to notice an embed code. Now this embed code is what we can put on any HTML page, and it's actually going to allow our lessons to appear. We can put it any place on the page that we want, and all we'll need to do is to copy this entire code. I'm going to click that, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to my web page. And you'll notice I've pasted my entire code in the HTML page right where it says blue. Now for the sake of the tutorial, we have put the center code in there. That will allow it to be centered. That would be something that you need to do. But now the code is now on an HTML page. So that means then that once our HTML page actually goes to the web and is in a directory, then we should be able to see the lessons. Now for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to create a directory called TCB course within the domain that we are working in. And that is so that we can see our page. We're going to upload our index page. You can see it here. It's been already done. But what you can do is take that page that you just created inside of your HTML editor and upload it to a particular directory on the domain we have been working from. And when you do that, you're going to notice that our lessons are in place. The first lesson, second lesson, and third lesson. So if we click inside of this lesson, you'll notice the lesson is there, our links, and our file. We can go back to that page, and then we'll see all of the lessons here again. Now obviously what you are looking at is very small, and that means that we can actually go back to our page or our admin panel, and we can actually enlarge the text. Now one other thing that we can do before we move on to the text is we can actually make one page appear or disappear, and we can do that by going to the eye here. And this now means that the second lesson is no longer going to appear. And so what we'll do is we'll refresh our page so that we can see that the second lesson should no longer appear. And we'll hit the refresh button. And you'll notice now that it's just the first lesson and the third lesson. We made the second one disappear even though it's still in the admin panel. So to unhide that page, all we're going to do is to go back, click the eye again. You'll notice that it is going to appear again. So now we have our 3 lessons. And now what we want to do is make them appear larger. So we're going to go into the edit screen, and we are going to take a look at our text as it is. And then in order to edit the text, we're going to go into our settings area. And then our font size, we're going to increase. So we're going to increase that by twice as much. We're going to increase the title by twice as much. And we're even going to change the font. And we're now going to click Save. Now what we're going to do is go back and refresh our document. And you'll notice here that now the lessons are larger. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you either in another video or another course.